5 tips on how to handle after-school meltdowns. I'm sitting here with Collett, our resident psychologist. How can we handle these meltdowns? So your kid has been at school all day and, you know, on their best behaviour, and then they just come home and they let loose. So how do we handle it?
Well, there's actually a term for it. Psychologists love coming up with names for everything. So it's actually called after-school restraint collapse.
Okay, of course.
But it's the meltdown.
Right.
And so I think first to think about as adults, don't we sometimes wish we could go and burst into the boss's office and
or just scream at the top of the mountaintop sort of thing? Yeah.
Well, all day, we hold stuff in as adults. We hold stuff in. We don't burst into the colleague's office. We don't have a go at the lady at the
It's called
checkout.
keeping it together.
Absolutely. And our children are doing the same thing. They're trying their very best to not end up in the principal's office or not end up being hauled out of the sandpit because they want to hurl sand. And so our children are holding in their behaviours all day long.
Right.
They get home, they feel the most relaxed at home. You are their safe space. Home is their safe space, which is wonderful and sometimes terrible because we get the best and the worst of our children.
Yes.
And so they let it all out. They let all of their frustration, all of their anger, all of everything that they were holding in, the bubble has to burst, and it bursts at home.
Right.
And very often our children don't even realise that that's happening for them. They will cry. They don't even realise why they're crying. Or, you know, they come home and they shove the cat. They don't even realise why they're doing that. Or they snap at you.
Yeah.
And
or just cry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that stuff just comes out without them realising. So for our little children, we don't need to explain all of that. Sometimes it's just looking at it, recognising it for what it is, and then just helping them process for the rest of the afternoon.
Okay, so these tips.
So there's 5 things we can do. So my first tip is letting our children know that we are there to reconnect.
Right.
So one of the first things to do that I have to stop myself doing is asking our children, so how was your day? Actually, for a lot of our children, they don't want to talk about how their day was.
Okay.
Some kids, it will naturally flow out. If you are picking them up from school, some children prefer silence, or they prefer to put the radio on or their iPod on or whatever it might be and just let the music come out. That is helpful. But let your face light up when your children come home. Let them see you as a safe place, a warm place. So that's reconnect.
Right.
Secondly, refuel. Make sure there's a healthy snack, that our children are drinking water, that they can refuel after a period of time of not eating. Because when you are hungry, you run down. When you are thirsty, you get crabby. So some of that is being hangry instead of angry as well. That adds to it. Then I think the third thing is actually letting our children have space. So for some of our children, space is just sitting in their rooms reading or sitting quietly for a while. For some of our children, hammering out the emotion on an instrument or kicking a ball or jumping on the trampoline. Fourth one is then the decompression time. So decompression actually only comes fourth. Decompression is eventually the communicating and the talking. When there's been lots of space and lots of feeding and lots of warmth, then we say to our children, what was going on for you today? When you see them more relaxed, very often, sometimes it's even at night, some of their stuff will come out.
When you're about to go to sleep.
Yes.
Because they want to have the long stories.
Bedtime, yes. And so for them, though, that's when the emotion can come out. And then, of course, in our weeks and in our day, one of the fifth things is to also just incorporate a bit of fun into our afternoons. That home can still be a place of sunshine and fun. You don't have to have fun every day. I'm not making this hard that parents have to schedule fun all the time, but try and plan some relaxation and some fun in your week where that's where we build connection with our children.
Really great tips there, Collett. Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope that's helped you. Keep it locked right here at Mums at the Table.